Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second film in our mini-series, SCOTUS in the Movies. Today's movie is a serious biopic, Woman in Gold, from 2015, rooted in a true story about the court's involvement in a case emerging from the Holocaust, directed by Simon Curtis with Helen Mirren and Ryan Reynolds. It was inspired by the story of Maria Altman, an elderly Jewish Vienna native who emigrated to the U.S. before the war and settled in Los Angeles, as depicted in the documentary Stealing Klimt. That film described her heroic 10-year effort to compel the Austrian government to return 5 Gustav Klimt paintings looted from her family's collection by the Nazis in 1938, just prior to World War II. Among them were 2 famous Klimt portraits of Miss Altman's maternal aunt, Adele Bloch-Bauer. However, not until 1998 did the Austrian government pass a law requiring museums to open their archives for research and to return plundered property. That law was pushed into existence by investigative reporters like Hubertus Czernin, seen as one of Maria's strongest supporters in this film. Restitution of the Altman family's property became possible with the engagement of the U.S. Supreme Court, which in Republic of Austria versus Altman from 2004, allowed her to sue the Austrian government in a U.S. court, thereby leading to her victory before an Austrian court of arbitration in 2006. Woman in Gold was shot mainly in London, Vienna, and Los Angeles. It frequently contrasts the modern architecture of Los Angeles with the historic architecture of London and Vienna. The Vienna airport scenes were filmed in London's Shoreham Airport. The first court hearing was filmed in the auditorium of the International Coffee Organization in Berners Street, London. The funeral scene was filmed at Hollywood's Forever Cemetery, with the famous Hollywood sign clearly visible in the background. Many of the interiors were shot in Twickenham studios in London, including the office interiors, the interior of Maria's shop, and the cinematographers had to add a green screen visible through the doorway showing the landscape outside, and also the interior car scenes. The Supreme Court scene was filmed in the Mansion House with added columns and red curtains, and the Vienna arbitration scene was shot in Goldsmiths Hall. The shots of the Belvedere Museum inside were shot in the Institute of Engineers, all of these in London. The Vienna Hotel, where Maria stays with her lawyer, Randy Schoenberg, is the famed Hotel Sacher. Norm's Diner, where Maria and Randy meet for coffee, is authentic. It's on Pico Boulevard in Los Angeles, and Maria dined there often. The film received mixed reviews at the time of its release, with its most complimentary notices for actors Mirren and Reynolds. However, it made a decent profit, earning $66 million on an investment of $11 million. Plot summary. Maria Altman fled with her opera singer husband to the U.S. when the Nazis invaded Vienna in 1938 and left her parents to face the Anschluss at their request. Shortly afterward, the Nazis raided the family apartment, looting many items from their collection of paintings, jewelry, silver, and other household goods. Among the stolen items were 5 valuable Gustav Klimt paintings, including 2 commissioned portraits of Maria's maternal aunt, Adele Bloch-Bauer, known as Adele Bloch-Bauer I, aka Woman in Gold, as the Austrians would later call it, and Adele Bloch-Bauer II, and 3 landscapes. They all landed in Austrian museums, notably the Vienna's Belvedere Museum, which housed Woman in Gold for over 50 years, and they regarded it as Austria's Mona Lisa, without ever acknowledging its provenance as stolen loot from before the war. In 1948, Maria Altman discovered documents among her aunt's papers, indicating that she was the legal heir to the property. Thus began a monumental battle to gain restitution of the disputed art, which ultimately rested on the U.S. Supreme Court decision that allowed the dispute to be resolved. This is the story of her crusade. Fun facts about the film. The scene in which Maria strolls with Randy and Hubertus at the Belvedere required a crane to capture the long vista toward the building. Arnold Schoenberg, a famous modern composer, was Randy's grandfather. Randy's mother was a close friend of Maria's. That's why Randy was recruited as her attorney. Adele's scene with the child Maria was shot in an intense golden hue. The scenes of the Nazis' march into Vienna appear to be archival footage, but were actually staged for this film. Director Simon Curtis used his grandfather's Kiddush cup in the scene of the Gestapo looting the family apartment. Curtis's daughter has a brief cameo as a woman having her ticket checked at the airport. The Vienna airport scene was shot on a hot summer day. The snow was added with a snow machine. When we see Randy Schoenberg lying on his sofa holding his baby daughter, the baby is actually a doll. The real infant wouldn't lie still during filming. Elizabeth McGovern plays the judge in the movie. She is Simon Curtis's wife, best known as Lady Grantham in Downton Abbey. The painting we see, known as Adele Blackbauer I, was a copy made by scenic artist Steve Mitchell. It took him 5 weeks to recreate it, and he also made another partly finished one for use in a close-up. In June 2006, Maria sold Adele Blackbauer I for $135 million to philanthropist Ronald Lauder for his Neue Gallery in New York, where it hangs permanently. Maria gave the proceeds to charity. Oprah Winfrey bought the second painting of Adele at auction for $88 million, also in 2006. It remained in her collection for 10 years until she sold it for $135 million in 2016. Adele Blackbauer's distinctive diamond collar landed in the collection of the wife of Hermann Goering. Maria's father is seen playing a cello. In real life, the Rothschild family lent him a Stradivarius cello, known as the Gore Booth Baron Rothschild Stradivarius. It, too, was confiscated by the Nazis, and it remained in German hands until 1956. Randy Schoenberg has a cameo in the scene at the film's end, in which Maria strolls through her childhood memories into her pre-war fantasy of a soiree held by her family in their home. He is holding a glass and toasting toward the camera. Maria's brother-in-law set up a factory in Liverpool after the war, where he made cashmere sweaters. Together, he and Maria helped to introduce cashmere to the U.S. market in the 1950s. You can see a cashmere-clad mannequin in Maria's boutique. And the airplane used in the film to fly Maria and Fritz from Vienna to Cologne was a vintage DC-3, substituted for a Junker Ju-52. Things to look for: Adele's diamond collar, Curtis's Kiddush cup, the golden scene of Adele with little Maria, the Stradivarius cello, the DC-3 that ferried Maria and Fritz to Cologne, 2 meticulous copies of Adele's Klimt portraits, the soiree with Schoenberg's toast, the fake snow at the Vienna airport, Norm's Diner, Goldsmith's Hall and the Mansion House, the cashmere-clad mannequin in Maria's shop, and Randy Schoenberg's doll standing in for his baby daughter. Now it's time to view Women in Gold. Get comfortable, set out a snack, and please be aware that it may take a few minutes for the film to roll. Enjoy.